Hey, I just had to go for a walk because I watched something just finished up with my live, and I was watching something online, and I just got so upset. So, if you're suffering from CPTSD, this probably would be something that would be affecting you too. And, you know, most likely this person was a catfish that had this like year-long situation with me that was in and out of my life, and, you know, took $1 bazillion from me and, wreaked all kinds of havoc. And ultimately destroyed my life, which I allowed them to do because I had absolutely no confidence due to the prior circumstances. But the thing that was so frustrating is about it, that makes me so upset right now from listening to this other person on YouTube, is that, and I don't know why, I'm doing exactly what she was saying, is that they were saying that people with complex post-traumatic stress disorder appear that they have narcissistic tendencies because everything is always about how much they feel. And they've been traumatized to such an extent, and they're so overwhelmed, and especially early on in their healing, everything is all about how they feel. And so other people will then misinterpret that as you being all about you and not being emotionally available to them or their partner, and everything is you. And I am so frustrated by that right now, because I feel like, one, that's probably the case. It's probably true because I'm healing, and but the other thing is that I can't be, the reason why I ended up in this situation is because I was being emotionally available to everybody in my life as an overgiver, and I was giving so much of myself to everybody. And so this is where it's dangerous for you to apply and not to have therapy, right? Like, and I'll certainly be talking to my therapist about this, but like, this is where it's dangerous for you not to apply like your specific, like, you can't just go apply what everybody says online to your specific situation, because the thing is that I was overgiving. So I like lost myself by overgiving everything in my life to everybody else and not protecting me, not having boundaries for me, and people were just walking all over me, and I felt lost and I felt unseen. And yeah, I'm talking about how I'm feeling, but the thing is that that's what I was like, that's how I grew up. I didn't know who I was. Like, that's how I spent my entire life, is trying to people please and make everybody else happy. And I, as a result of it, never felt like valued, never felt enough. Now, oh God, there's the goose babies. Hold on. Look at them all. It was our moment of serenity in the middle of my rant, but to give me a minute to calm down and regulate my emotions a little bit more. So I don't know if that really applies, but I'm sure people might feel like that around me, like everything is all about me. But you know what, at this moment in my time in my life, I feel like I have to be selfish. Like, I have to, because nobody was looking out for my best interests. Nobody was paying attention to my needs. So I had to be selfish. But with that being said, I can't help but get this thought out of my head that somebody, because there was this moment in time where when my ex-husband was harassing me, and I had told my catfish about it, right? And upset. And I said that he was harassing me and he wanted his information. And I gave him his information. And I can't help but think that this person was tainted by something that he said, like that I was in, you know, or the fact that, and then he said he met somebody and I always felt like I was being shrinked, you know, and that I was made out like I was the person that was crazy. He even said that you're sick, you're crazy. Well, yeah, I was being traumatized. I was trying to get out of a traumatic situation. I had been trying to get out of it for a long time. And, you know, and the bottom line is that if this person did this and let's say they were legitimate and they were a person and they just jumped to a conclusion and just jumped to just judging me without even meeting me, without even taking a moment to actually sit down and meet with me and talk to me, you know, they were just jumping to that conclusion off of like what they thought they knew, is absolutely absurd. And they don't need to be in my life actually at all, you know. And then after what they did and the lies, I mean, now it seems like they were just purposely doing stuff just to make me walk away, to be like, so I would break up with them because they thought I was crazy or something, when all I was doing was trying to be supportive and nice and loving. And if that's the case, then they messed up big time. It's their loss. They don't deserve to have me in their life. And that's what I felt. Like, that's what I'm feeling like. And they don't deserve to have me in my life because they judged me before they even knew me. I mean, and that was the one thing they always said, like, oh, don't judge me. You're judging me. You know, this whole thing about judging, you know. Always this whole stupid thing about judging. And what were they doing? They were judging me. And that's the thing. It's like the one thing that they bothered them the most is the one thing that they were doing. You know? It's always how it is. I mean, maybe I'm just trying to make sense out of nonsense. And that was their, you know, maybe that's it. But I can't help but, you know, feel like that, you know, it's like, how do you get from this point of feeling like people, like so many people were like judged me and so many people were given misinformation and were so uneducated about what was going on. And of course I didn't want to share it because one, I was I was afraid. And I was embarrassed, and like, I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't even know how to to be honest with you, I didn't even, part of the time I didn't even know one of the things. I didn't know what I was dealing with until I left. And then my ex-husband started acting that way. I didn't know, right? It was like total dissociation. And then when I figured it out, like when I started to get the idea of what kind of monster I was living with, then I was like, I was so shut down. I didn't even know how to vocalize it. I didn't even know how to deal with it. I just wanted to run away. And I didn't know how to run away. And, you know, and then when you hear something like that people would just judge you like that and just think these horrific things about you. And you know what? I don't need those people in my life. They were never obviously there for me to begin with. They just wanted to judge me. So I don't need them. And that's me obviously deflecting and me pushing people away yet again, because I feel like I can't trust people. But you know, what am I supposed to do? You know? I mean, if that's how people treat you and that's how people quickly judge you off of you going through a crisis, I mean, it's like judging somebody. It's like how you would judge somebody in like the middle of them losing their entire life is how you're going to judge them on whether you want to spend time with them or not? Are you serious? That's absurd. This person, I was losing my entire life and they're going to judge me? It's just, you know, that's what makes me feel so disappointed sometimes, and in people. And but then yet at other times I meet these beautiful people that are just amazing, and I just hold on to that. But that's why people with CPTSD, like, they don't spend time with people a lot. They are loners, or probably people with PTSD. I'm assuming too. They don't like to be around other people because they're constantly feeling that they're being judged by others about what they do or how they behave or how they act, because we're trying to regulate ourselves. We're trying to weave our way through chaos and get out on the other side. And the last thing we need is somebody else coming along and telling us that the way I'm behaving is not appropriate to their standards in order to be my friend at this juncture in time during chaos. You know? Then get out of my life then. And you know, how many times have I been there for those people when they were going through chaos? And they can't be there for me? That's the thing. So no, I'm sorry. I tend to disagree with what this woman is saying, because I don't think that that's the case. Not in every circumstance. Sorry, this is so dark today. I didn't mean to do this, but I'm hoping it's going to help somebody who doesn't start blaming themselves for actions of healing and choosing to take their life back, as opposed to and creating safe boundaries for themselves. And when they're dealing with a narcissist in their life, most likely multiple, every situation and every circumstance is different. So please don't cookie cutter your life to fit into every single box that everybody wants to try to make it fit into, because it's not the case. I'm gonna let you go now. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for watching to the end of my video. Bye. Hey, I was just looking at the tape and from earlier today, after I've calmed down a little bit from being so upset, and it just made me recall, like, how crucial it is. And this is why I got so frustrated. It was because, you know, we're in the middle of healing and trying to heal from this. And I don't care if you have PTSD or if you have CPTSD. You've been traumatized. And so you've taken that decision to finally, which is so hard because that happens. Like, you get those things because you feel unsupported during trauma. So it's hard enough. So, like, already you're probably one of those people that overgive, that tend to show up for other people and don't have a lot of people showing up for you. And so it's really hard for you to make that decision to make yourself a priority. And I don't care if other people, I mean, obviously it bothered me today, but like that, it was me wanting to show you guys how crucial it is about what you take in. Sorry, I had to sneeze. About what you take in the media and like, I mean, even music, right? And what, like, you have to be vigilant sometimes because it can really, really cause a lot of triggers that are kind of unnecessary, right? That you don't really need to be going through, or it doesn't need to enter your mind thought, because you're sitting there trying to heal. And like, for instance, I'm looking for a job right now, right? I'm just using me as an example because I don't have any other people to use. So I'm looking for a job, right? And as I'm sitting here trying to look for a job, and I'm like looking, like, you know, we're getting into like well over 50 job searches. I mean, in the almost 100, actually some of them, I think 100. And I haven't found a job yet. Now, mind you, some of them are not like long-term jobs. They're temporary little mini small jobs, voiceover jobs, but still. And I'm sitting here going, wait a second. Is that the missing link? Is it the fact that they all think that I'm narcissistic? Is that what they're reading from me? Like, I don't need that in my mindset, because I'm sitting here trying to heal. Like, I'm trying to make myself better. I'm trying to get better. So the last thing I need to do is to have that in my head. That's stuck in my head, because that's one thing that we do, is that we have this constant thought process. And she knows that, because the person that said it, I don't want to get into that. The person that said it is a well-known person that talks about CPTSD on YouTube. And don't get me wrong, she's got some great stuff on there. But this particular thing I have a problem with. And then there's that lens that we play, this negative lens that people have that hold you back from being highly successful in your life, because in the past, the trauma has gotten in the way. Whatever caused the trauma or initially started the trauma, and then the additional events that have happened have constantly gotten in the way of you being successful. And once you realize that, and then you have to overcome it, then you don't trust yourself, because you chose these people and you thought these experiences, and you thought these experiences were safe experiences, right? And so then all of a sudden your reality starts being fractured and crumbling to pieces around you. And you begin to, like, it doesn't seem like it's all a delusion, you know? Especially when you're leaving a narcissistic relationship, because that entire relationship was a delusion. Like, it was just completely fake. It was all for show. So that's what I'm trying to say is that everybody's healing is going to be different. And to try to fit yourself into this cookie cutter box of what healing is, it's not going to work. And the fact that somebody would sit there and we all have different personalities, right? We all have different things going on, different trauma that's happened to us. And the fact that somebody would potentially judge you, like other people in your life, meaning, right, not this therapist, but other people in your life, would judge you on that during a crisis, when you're trying to establish firm boundaries, firm standards, because that's what you have to do, because, you know, you can't really control what other people do around you, right? Because that's the first thing you want to do once you realize you don't have trust, is become hyper vigilant, right? And you try to control everything. So especially if you feel trapped, so you become hyper vigilant with it. And then, so the only way that you can control that, right, is by setting better standards. Also, so you protect yourself and boundaries, so you don't attract the same kind of people. Well, so if you do that, then that's protecting you. So you've just decided that you're going to set better standards, better boundaries for yourself by choosing yourself and making yourself a priority and choosing your healing. And then she enters like these thought processes of you doing that is maybe because you're feeling your feelings and you're realizing how all these things happen to you and you're trying to heal, is turning out to be narcissistic to other people. Well, you know what? Those people don't need to be in your life if that's how they feel, because that might be a clear indication that those people are toxic and they need to go, because it's all about them, or it's a one-way street anyway, right? Because I don't know, if someone's truly your friend, they would probably, from either a sympathetic or an empathetic perspective, say, whoa, this poor girl has been through a lot, or this poor man's been through a lot. They've had a lot of things happen to them. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and maybe I'm going to call on her and see if she's okay. I'm going to check on her, see if she's okay. And I'm not saying that people haven't done that, because they have done that. There's been a handful of people that have done that. But like the mass majority of people I know, no, not at all. And and then they would recognize that if there is any kind of regulated emotions or distance from me, that it was because I'm in trauma. And I'm not sitting here trying to bring that into their life. And that would be the reason why I'm not, because I mean, certainly that's the first thing I would think. Well, maybe they're having a bad day. You know, that's the first thing I'm thinking of. I purposely try to do that as opposed to thinking, oh, they don't want to talk to me. So, I don't know. I mean, I just felt like that was important. I just felt like it was an important thing to bring up, because it just felt so off the mark and so unfair. Just because we've been fighting so hard to have that moment in time for us to heal, and then to be gypped from being taken away, or to, you know, it's like to be guilted out of being taken away from us, or taking that time for us to heal. And I just don't want anybody who's on that journey to have that taken away from them. And I just don't think that's fair. So that's my thought process. Let me know if you agree. Anyway, good night. I've got a bed full of cats here to cuddle with. And somebody sneezing. Oh, bless you. God bless you. Oh, another one. God bless you. All right, guys. Have a good night. His face.